education.
Hey, Gary, could you help me out? I have to interview 6 students here at the Alternative for my independent English class. Will you be my first? And when I'm finished with Gary, maybe I could interview you. How about it?
What are you going to ask about?
Nothing personal. I just want to find out why you're here and if the extra classes are helping you.
How long is this going to take?
Well, if we start right now, we'll be done before the end of break. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Now, you go first, Gary. Just tell us how old you are, why you dropped out, and what happened to make you come here.
Okay. My name's Gary, and I'm 16. I dropped out so I could get a full-time job and start earning some money. See, last summer, I got my first real job, and I really liked it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was working 40 hours a week, had weekends off, and was earning a lot of money. But in the fall, when school started, I could only work part-time, mostly on the weekends. I didn't like it because between work and school, I wasn't getting any free time, and working part-time made my paycheck smaller. I decided to quit school and ask for my old hours back, but that was a mistake.
What do you mean you're going to quit school so you can work full-time? Not here you won't. You're a smart kid, Gary. But if you leave school now, you're never going to find out how smart you could be. You should be concentrating on your education while you have the chance. You have the rest of your life to make money. Pumping gas here is a good job, but are you going to do it for the rest of your life?
Well, I thought maybe I could become a mechanic. You know, work in the garage.
Forget it. I can't afford to teach you how to work on engines with my customers' cars. That's what school is for.
Well, I'm not learning anything like that now.
You're only 16, right? What, a junior? Finish this year, then one more. When you have your high school diploma, then you go to trade school. 2 more years and you're a certified mechanic. Then I give you a job in the garage.
That's 4 years.
That's life. You don't believe me, talk to the guys in the garage.
But I didn't take his advice. Instead, I started cutting school after lunch so I could find another job. But nobody was hiring unless you had experience, references, a high school diploma, or your GED. A lot of the jobs wanted at least 2 years of college. After 3 weeks, I was getting discouraged. I had totally quit going to school, and I still hadn't gotten any work. I was really down when...
Hey, Gary. What's up?
Nothing.
Looking for a job?
You know it. I want to work full-time, too.
What about school?
When they start paying me, I'll go back. Right now, I want to earn some money.
If you're interested, I can get you hired. But I'm warning you, it's tough work.
I'm your man. There's nothing tougher than looking for work. Just tell me where and when.
All right. Well, we're doing some work over at the mall.
I thought I had it made. I was going to work. Lee got me work all right, hauling scrap at construction sites. That's his business, and he's good at it. He has 10 guys working for him. Working for Lee made me start thinking about what kind of business I could start one day. I figured if he could do it, I could do it. I decided to talk to him.
If you're really serious about starting your own business someday, then right now is the time to start laying the groundwork. Do you think you can do it without finishing high school?
Why not? You did.
No, I didn't. I dropped out of school when I was 16 and worked around construction sites for 2 years. But when I was 18 and still low man on the totem pole, I knew I'd made a mistake. See, Gary, I was just like you. I left school so I could make some money. And I did. But after 2 years, I wanted more than just money. I wanted some kind of job satisfaction. I was angry every time some guy walked in off the street and got a position on the crew that I wanted, but couldn't get because I wasn't qualified. So I went back to school and got my GED so I could get into city college. And you know what? I liked it.
No way.
No, I mean it. The courses were interesting. They got me thinking. That's how I got the idea for my business and learned how to set it up. School got me out of my rut. You know, I still take some classes at night.
Well, I'm not ready to go back. Yet.
Okay, no pressure. But think about this. Being smart and being educated aren't the same things. I know you're smart, and I know you're ambitious, but you need education to make the things that you're smart enough to think about real. It's the nuts and bolts of success.
He was right, so I went back to school.
So how'd you get here?
My advisor worked it out for me. Taking extra classes here every Saturday is helping me to get my diploma faster. Next September, I'll be in vocational school.
What about work?
What about it? I'm back at the gas station, part-time, and now that I know what I'm doing, it's just fine with me.
It is kind of hard when reality doesn't jive with the fantasy. At least it was for me.
Will you tell us your story now? You don't have to get real personal.
I'm not worried about being personal. It just embarrasses me to remember what a ditz I used to be. I'm 15 years old, and if I'd cared about school, I'd be a sophomore. But school didn't fit in with my plans. I was going to be a model. Everybody thought I was a weirdo. It didn't bother me, though. I thought they were the weirdos. You see, I had this attitude problem. Nothing else mattered except me and a chance to be a model. I didn't need any friends, so I didn't try to make any. I was really wrapped up in my own little world. Nobody or nothing else mattered. What happened at school never bothered me. I was cool. I went to my classes and did my homework. Sort of. I didn't care if I didn't learn, but it didn't take long for my mom to find out, and she did care.
The steady decline in Jolene's achievement levels is serious. Unless she can make some big improvements in her math and English skills in this last quarter, I'm afraid she'll have to repeat her freshman year.
What about summer school?
Mom!
That would be my recommendation if Jolie can't make some big progress by June. But it may not be necessary.
What do you have to say about this, Jolie?
I'll pass my classes. I'll get the grades. I've got better things to do with my summer than go to school.
I'm glad. I thought all you might need is some incentive. Now, this may not be as easy as you think, so I want you to feel free to ask me for any help you may need.
I did try, but it was hopeless. I didn't understand fractions, so how was I going to figure out percentages? Every time I got discouraged, I'd just drift off into a daydream. I didn't want to look stupid, so I faked it. I lied and pretended I didn't need help.
Jolie, do you need any help?
No, not at all. Even when it was offered. But you can't fake a report card. And when it came, my mom blew up. We had this huge fight, and the fact that I knew she was right made it worse.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. You know I only want the best for you. How are we going to work this out?
Mom, I'm sorry too. I just don't care about school. This is what I care about. Modeling. That's what I want to do this summer.
You and thousands of other teenage girls. Where would you start?
Mom, I'm serious. I have enough money to get professional photographs taken. And then I'd take the photos to the agency and they'd sign me up.
And then you'd be famous and rich and still flunking out.
Mom, I know it seems like I'm failing, but please, just give me a chance.
Okay, we'll try it your way. We'll spend your money and your summer trying to make your dream come true. If you make my dream come true and get serious about school in September.
Oh, Mom, you'll see I can do it all. The photographs were great, real glamour. I barely recognized myself. But nobody else was impressed. What a letdown. The photographer had recommended 4 agencies. The first 3 had been polite, but not interested. But the worst was the last.
This is quite an impressive portfolio. Did you do your own makeup? And wardrobe? Very ambitious, very creative. You have lots of talent, Jolie. How badly do you want to be a model?
More than anything.
How old are you, Jolie?
I just turned 15.
Well, you won't get any work with this portfolio.
Why?
Because you're selling the image of a 20-year-old. And no client will go through the extra hassle of hiring a minor when he has the option of hiring an adult. This is the image that will get you work. Simple, clean youth. Even then it will be hard because so many 18-year-olds can get the job. Minors create scheduling problems.
You mean school? That won't be any problem.
School is already a problem for Jolie. I don't want her dropping out.
You won't get any legitimate work as a dropout. As a minor, this state requires that you attend school until you're 16. Any minors reporting to work are registered with the State Welfare Board, and we are required to provide adequate supervision by a certified teacher or guardian. Work is not permitted to interfere with your education. Not so fast, Jolie. Jolie does have the potential to be a successful juvenile model. I'm not making any guarantees, but I would like to sign her with the agency. As the parent, the decision is up to you.
Well, I've worked once over the summer, and that's been it so far.
Have you changed your attitude about school?
Yeah, and not just about school, but about learning, too. You see, I spent all my time in this fantasy, and...
But you got what you wanted.
No, I didn't. My fantasy was glamorous close-ups of me in diamonds and furs. Know what my first job was? Posing in a sweater with an armload of school supplies. Real glamorous, huh? Buy this notebook. It changed my life. I'm serious. Models advertise things. That was never a part of my fantasy, and I wasted my whole freshman year. Sure, I'm a model, but I'm not rich, I'm not famous, and I'm not educated. That's reality. I'm here to finish up the education that I missed, and now that I care about it, I'm doing just great. But I had to change my attitude, understand?
I know exactly what she means. We're the ones who can make the biggest difference in our education. Once we start getting real about things, it just seems to make sense that we need an education. Without one, life can be real tough.
You sound like an authority on the subject. What's your story, Teresa?
It's not my story, it's my mother's. She's the one who dropped out when she was 15. Maybe it wouldn't matter if my dad was still around, but he's been gone almost 6 years now. She's had to support me and my 2 little brothers by herself. It hasn't been easy.
I know what that's like.
I've been to 4 different schools in 5 years.
What does your mother do?
She's tried a lot of things, but right now she works for a janitorial company, cleaning offices at night. She hates the hours because she never gets to see us, but she really doesn't have a choice. It's the best she can do. Her math is so bad, she can't be a waitress or a sales clerk, and she never really learned any office skills. Not until now. She's going to school during the day so that she can get her GED.
Your mother's back at high school?
In a way, yes. She has to get her GED so she can start vocational school, just like Gary. You have to have the basics before you can tackle anything big. How are you supposed to operate a computer if you can't read the manual?
That's real interesting about your mom, but why are you here?
Because I'm 14 and I read like a 4th grader. My math isn't that great either. I was flunking out, so I asked for help. I come here 3 times a week for extra classes. It's hard, but I don't want to make my mother's mistake.
Thanks, Teresa. Do you want to go next?
Sure. My name's Marcus. I'm 14, and I'm here for the same reason as Teresa. I went to school, but I wasn't learning anything. I kind of bluffed my way through 6th grade and middle school. You know, copying homework, sometimes cheating. School was a joke, and I was having fun. Sometimes I noticed that my friends had fun because they could read, but I didn't care. It didn't seem important. When I got to high school, forget it. There was no way I could keep up. I hated it. I had hassles with everybody. My teachers, my mom, even my old friends. I sure couldn't figure out what good it was doing me, so I just left.
So how long did you stay out before coming here?
2 weeks. I got busted for shoplifting. I didn't know it, but the guys I was hanging out with, man, they were heavy-duty sleaze. They're gone, and I'm here on probation.
What was the worst thing about high school for you?
Trying to fit in. I didn't like feeling stupid, so I didn't hang out with the people that liked school. Instead, I hung out with the people that didn't care, but they just got me in trouble. And when I left, I still didn't fit in anywhere, and I ended up in more trouble. But it's different now. I know school isn't set up to make you flunk out. You just have to care enough to listen and work.
That's great, Marcus. Do you want to tell your story, Laura?
Yeah. I'm here because, like Marcus, I couldn't handle high school, or really, the other people there. What I mean is, I'm shy. Like, I'm afraid of other people, you know? You see, it started in junior high. I couldn't make any friends because I was everybody's idea of the total and complete nerd.
You didn't have any friends at all?
None. I was too shy to try at first, and then after the jokes and nicknames started, it was too late. Kids were afraid to be nice to me or they'd be called weird too. At first, high school was great. There were lots of kids, so so I didn't feel like I stuck out. I was still nervous about meeting people, afraid I'd do something stupid and they wouldn't like me. So I tried to be real casual. After a month, I noticed I wasn't the only loner on campus. There were other kids that hung out all by themselves. Some of them I knew were considered weird, and I tried to avoid them. One day, I saw a girl being teased, and when I got closer, I could see she was crying. It wasn't too long before I started getting hassled. I hated school, and used every excuse I could to keep from going. Finally, I broke down and I told my counselor the truth. She recommended this program, and it's working. I'm getting my education without the peer pressure.
But it's not fair. You wanted to be at school. The other kids made it impossible.
No, I was the one who made it impossible. I never let anybody know what I was really like because I was too afraid.
You don't seem afraid now.
Well, I go to group counseling sessions to learn how to open up. You'd be amazed at how many kids drop out of school because they feel like outsiders or victims.
Want to tell us your story?
Sure. It's sweet and simple. I left high school because, like everyone else here, I didn't know what a mistake it was. I was bored, and I figured it was school. I always got good grades, and because it was so easy for me, I thought I didn't need school.
So I left. I hung out in the park with the other guys who were too smart to go to school. After 2 weeks, more like 2 days, but I didn't admit it, I was bored and depressed. I kept thinking about my future and what I wanted to do with my life. It was a joke, hanging out, being just fine. I decided I had to talk to somebody who might understand. I didn't know where I was going, but it felt good to be walking away from them. I ended up in my old elementary school. I knew that I wanted to talk to my old 6th grade teacher. I hoped he would understand.
And he did. He set it up so I could take classes here that I can't get at my regular school, like journalism and script writing.
That's great. Now here's the 6th interview, your own story. Now you're done.
Now let me check my facts. Gary dropped out so he could work, but he's back now so that he can learn skills that will help him advance at his job.
Right. I want the options that a good education can give you as an adult.
Jolie, you dropped out so that you can become a model.
Wrong. I was failing all my subjects at school because I had this fantasy that I could be a success without an education. I was wrong. Like Gary said, education means options.
Got it straight. Now, Teresa, you dropped out because of family problems.
Yes, but make it clear that my mom is the real victim of dropping out. She couldn't get a job she liked because she had no education.
Okay. Marcus, you dropped out because high school was too tough. You couldn't hack the work and you couldn't take the flack, right?
Almost. I thought high school was too tough, but that's because I didn't have any reading or writing skills. I could have asked for help, but I didn't.
Laura, you'd be a dropout right now if you weren't getting counseling about self-image and peer pressure.
Yes, and I'm not the only one. There are lots of kids who drop out because of problems that have nothing to do with education, but more with emotional stresses, like decisions about sex and drugs. It's okay to have problems. You can get help. But if you drop out of school, forget it. You still got your problems and no education. Then what kind of an adult are you?
I think this is going to be good enough to send to a newspaper, to print.
Who's going to be interested in the homework of an ex-dropout?
Maybe other dropouts. People who gave up on school and wish they hadn't. Maybe they're tired of hanging out, waiting for a break. If they knew we were getting our education, maybe they would take the initiative to find out how they can get theirs. Now all I need is a title. Any suggestions?
Don't drop out. You can't afford it.
Get real. Dropouts have it tough.
You're not stupid until you drop out.
Give yourself a chance. Don't drop out.
Dropping out is a handicap no one needs.
Dropping out will bore you to death.